Hello BookTube, this is Kelly and thank you so much for watching Books I'm Not Reading. So I'm here today to do a short little review of Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I know many of you love this book. I'm sorry. There were parts of this book I enjoyed. I just want to do like a brief review of it, and I haven't yet decided whether or not I will be spoiling anything, so that should be in the headline of the video. So if you haven't read it, you just want to make sure if I have spoilers or no spoilers up above. But I've heard so many good things about this author and this book, and I still do want to read. I think that his most famous one is A Man Called Ove. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Apologies there. But this takes place in a little tiny town in Sweden, and I assume it's in Sweden anyway. And it's a hockey town. You know, it's small enough that that's what brings everyone together. And in this particular story, it's kind of what not so much hockey, but as the people who are involved, this is what it does it splits it apart, essentially. So I felt he was kind of all over the map as far as character development. Some characters were really maybe developed too much. Some characters were really just fascinating, and there were a couple of the teenage boys that I was really, really intrigued by their backstory and the things that they were hiding and that sort of stuff. But there were some major characters that I felt were really not fleshed out very well. The other thing is that the very first chapter of this book sort of tells you what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Again, this is chapter 1, so I promise I'm not spoiling anything for you there. Late one evening toward the end of March, a teenager picked up a double-barreled shotgun, walked into the forest, put the gun to someone else's forehead, and pulled the trigger. This is the story of how we got there. And I felt that his doing that in the very first chapter casts a shadow over the entire book. You're always just going, okay, well, who? Because it doesn't say if the person that they put the shotgun to is an adult or is a teenager. You don't know genders, and so you're always kind of and there's so many references to guns and all that kind of stuff. So it's always there. It's always sort of present. And the other thing that he does is that he's always telling us, years later, the characters will look back on this moment and know blah, 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 blah. Or this is the one thing that in the years to come, this character would be, saddened by, or whatever. Or 10 years from now. And he does use 10 years a lot. And I was just man, just how it's happening right now. Let's just stick to that. It got really old. I wouldn't have minded if he'd only done it a couple times, but it was again and again and again, and I felt that was really not so interesting. No, I didn't enjoy. And I also felt the end of the book, where he's casting into the future. I guess it's not the very end of the book, but foreshadowing things. Towards the end of the book, it was so unrealistic. I thought so far-fetched in some ways that I just I just really, really had a hard time believing that. So I wanted to at least like appreciate this book. I'm not sure that this is a book you enjoy necessarily. And I mean, I love reading about this part of the world, and I didn't mind the hockey at all. And I think actually Jason found this book, which I can't believe because it is a remainder hardcover, but I mean the initial price was like $26.99. And I think Jason found this in a free library here in town. Again, like there were things that I thought were really, really well done, really interesting. And again, like the parts about the hockey, I was talking to Rainy on Voxer about it yesterday because she just read this in January and she didn't like it. And she didn't like the hockey. And I really didn't have, aside from like the parents being like wild animals in the crowd, I thought that was just, and I mean, not that that's not true. Like, we clearly know that happens at sporting events, especially when it's involving people's children. Tend to lose, I don't know, perspective on it. You know, how many young student athletes are going to go on to the Olympics or some kind of professional career. So anyway, but the hockey parts, I mean, it didn't really. I didn't mind them. I didn't mind the practices or, you know, people having their own little mini skating rinks where they just practice hitting goals over and over and over again. So, but I just feel like if you had been less concerned about telling us what happens 10 years from now, and less concerned about telling us what the outcome was, and just told this really tight story of this particular moment in the story of the town, like I think that would be a really great book. That would definitely probably move my rating up to I'd give it 3 stars right now. But if he could have let go of that first chapter and let go of all the stuff that's going to happen, 10 years from now or what, I found what he thought was going to happen 10 years from now, especially towards the end of the book, like I found that really, really hard to believe. So I probably won't read the sequel to this. Yeah, so this will probably end up in another free library unless one of you tells me that you want it and you're willing to provide me with a mailing address. I'll send that to you. But yeah, so could have been a great book. Just wasn't really for me. I did to sort of like cleanse myself from this. I did watch this film last night, which is streaming on Netflix right now. Miracle, the 1980 USA hockey team. It's in the middle of towards the end of the Cold War, and the Soviet hockey team, nobody can beat them, and how this particular coach, played by Kurt Russell, brings them together. It's a true story, and it was so funny. One of my friends in Canada, who is a big hockey fan, said that watching this movie was so bizarre. It was so bizarre to be cheering for the Americans. So I thought that was great too. But anyway, so this is an excellent film. And I did really, that helped quite a bit. But yeah, Beartown. So like, if you loved it, like tell me, please tell me in the comment section, what I missed, what my mistake is. And again, if you'd like to own this, let me know, and I'll be happy to pass it on and share it with someone else. I still am quite concerned about this bear out here. Nice. Remember, BookTube, to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and yeah, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.